Thank you so much for seeing back after lunch. And Swami, I know you are leaving, but I want to thank you very much for showing the comical video. Very nice. Thank you. So I'm going to be sharing the RMF 2.0 program we just started in July this year. The program is funded by NRP with NRP colleagues. Thank you for the support. So I want to share with you, the team here, what we plan to do, what we are doing, and what areas that we need your input so that we can develop something that's really to your need and meet your need. So the reason why I want to thank Swami is the comical. So I like comics myself very much. So my definition of comics is really looking into the future of robotics development. The first thing is a collaborative. I think Swami also touched on that. How do we ensure that human-robot interactive and collaborative more efficiently and in a safe way? And important is how do we allow and enable human to robot skill transfer? How do we teach robot to be as smart, as ductile, as flexible as we are? The second, of course, is today's topic, open source, ROS-I, and that's a second trend we see that going forward. And the industry, research communities, and research performers, we need to see how we can leverage and benefit from crowd and community innovation. So don't just close the door to yourself, work out everything yourself. There's a lot of millions of people in the world collaborating, creating open source capabilities that we can leverage and we should leverage. Things like ROS2, ROS-Industrialization, how do we harden the capabilities and make it more reliable and more robust. The third area is mobility. Everything, I think you see a lot of mobile robot going without saying. And what's important is how do we look into and improve the speed and safety. And especially if you need to integrate indoor and outdoor navigation, all weather, all terrain conditions. So these are the technology required. And how do we enable reconfigurability? Can the robot, the mobile robot with a payload engagement modules, how can they reconfigure themselves based on the need of the job? The fourth area is intelligence. I think this morning a lot of discussion about generative AI. I think for the community is really is a good news. You can just close your eye, things will be done for you. Generative, right? Just tell them, I need a robot that can do this and that, go to this floor and that floor, these things will be done, create a robot for you, create a solution for you. How nice that is. So let's try and work together to see how we can benefit from that. How do we leverage generative AI for self-learning, machine learning, autonomous decision-making? The robot move to a certain location, they know what to do, they know how to do it. And also supported with a multimodal perception, sensing that enables ambience responsiveness. The next is connectivity, interoperability between robot and human, robot and the infrastructure. And also the IT-OT integration. IT stands for information technology. Typically we have ERP, MES, WMS, and the OT integration, OT operational technologies like machines, robot, PLCs, and how do we have a unified integrated operation, allowing the information, data, instruction flow seamlessly between systems. And that depends on the use, of course, the digital connectivity, cloud robotics, 5G, and 6G under development. The last but not least, everybody wants simple things. With generative AI, nobody wants to do programming. How can we enable low-code, no-code programming with graphical drag and drop, that kind of a configuration, and learn and show to the robot will learn the skills without programming. That's a thing we can share going forward. Of course, I want to also share with some recent report from the International Federation of Robotics. This is the latest report published about the the industry development in 2022, last year. What I want to draw your attention is look at this, what they call professional service robot. Basically, these are the mobile robot, serve the industry, serve the manufacturing logistics facilities, doing the cleaning, doing the delivery, doing the inspection, surveillance. And over last year, 2020, over last 2021, there's a 48%. So it's good news, 48% increase in terms of a new robot, new service robot being implemented worldwide. And close to 55% that go into transport and logistics. I think this is where the area that majority of us are serving or planning to serve the industry. And these are the typical intralogistics and outbound, inbound logistics that serve the manufacturing and the commercial, even the commerce side. And the second to that is 16% hospitality. That includes all the hotels, where you deliver your car and the robot deliver to your doorstep, and as well as those in the facilities, shopping malls, capability areas. The third is a medical robotics, and the fourth is professional cleaning robot. I think agriculture probably not so much relevant for us at the moment. But if you add up these top 5 professional service robotic applications, it takes about 85% of the total new installation, new robot installed in 2022. So that's a good thing that we are seeing the market is really growing fast. For those who are supplying and making or planning to do a robot for this industry, I think this is a good news. And for end users, it's also good news. We have a lot of new robots coming to the market. If you look at the total suppliers available in the market, it's more than 1,000 companies, which is 5 to 6 times the number of companies supplying industrial robot. So look at the industrial robot, we know the top 4, ABB, Fanuc, Yaskawa, Kuka, this robot, the next top 20, top 30. So this, moving to this domain, we are talking about thousands of companies. And many of these companies producing this robot using open source ROS capabilities. And we see new innovation day in, day out coming out to the market. And out of these 1,000 suppliers, at the bottom you can see that 80% are small and medium companies. And this is a definition by European standard, not Singapore standard. They're talking about companies with less than 500 people. And 10% of these 1,000 companies are startup companies who are less than 5 years old. So what does that mean? We see a lot of new innovation coming to the market, and end users should be very happy. A lot of opportunity for us to benefit from the latest innovations in the market. But the challenge is, how do we know that this company will be still around after we invest and buy and install and deploy the robot created, produced by these companies? If not, and how do we assume they are all around? How do we continuously add in new robots, new innovations that scale together with our business? So I think this is a challenge moving forward that we need to solve as a community. So looking into that, so some of the challenges, as I mentioned, with vendor lock-in, I think from an end user point of view, nobody wants to be locked to a particular vendor forever. Right? You want to have the opportunity to buying new capability, new robots, and yet that robot collaborate with whatever you already have in your setting. So how do we scale up our applications from not 2 robots, 5 robots, how about 100 robots, 1,000 robots as your business grow? And the total cost of deployment is not about buying a mobile robot costing you 20K, 30K, or 40K. It's about the whole fleet, how you manage, how you maintain, how you dispose of them, how do you repurpose, and how do you support that whole cycle of your deployment. And right over there, the challenge is IT-OT integration. From the top floor to the shop floor, how do we integrate, allow the free and the seamless integration of data and the instructions? and collaboration with human being. I think just now Swami also mentioned, how do we make this a happy factory, happy shopping mall, happy warehouse? I think those who work in warehouse probably not really enjoying that mood of happiness yet. How do we enable that? And lastly, but not least, I think the talent crunch in Singapore perspective. This morning we witnessed what the ROS-I signed the MOU with all the shells, and we hope to go and help the industry to really increase the talent pool so that companies who want to set up business in Singapore, who already have a business in Singapore, who want to expand their capabilities, we have the ready pool of young scientists, young engineers available to support them. So I think Luca, I must thank Luca for doing all the one-on-ones of RMF. So I will skip that. RMF, basically this is something catalyzed by NRP, National Robotics Program, back 5 or 6 years back. And the primary application has been on healthcare in Singapore, together with CHART, the Changi General Hospital team. So this is a journey where we started 5 or 6 years back. The idea was ideated to do something that allowed the robot to talk to each other, talk to the infrastructures. And then that fast forward, a lot of deployment in the hospitals and also our COVID treat facilities. I think the back 2 years, that's a big thing in Singapore. And then in 2021, the team decided and discussed and brainstormed what's the next phase. How do we bring the RMF out of the healthcare industry, go to other industries so that all the rest can benefit. So that's where we started to work together to develop and generate, brainstorm the idea of RMF 2.0. And we managed to get the support from NRP and the committees that review our proposals and start the project in July this year. So RMF 2.0, as I mentioned, we want to go beyond healthcare, which has been very successful. We want to do more for the manufacturing and logistics industry, as well as the facilities management sector. So that's the portion of a 2.0 under ARTC. There's another portion continue with healthcare industry to look into the scale up. So we want to build new features, create new features, new capability to support IT/OT integration, co-simulation, simulate your production schedule, what you plan to deliver, the cycle time, the throughput, the cost values, and then you simulate whether your fleet or robot can support that schedule or not. If not, how do you do co-simulation, refine the schedule so that later on you have the certainty what you plan to do can be delivered. And also look into next generation robot execution system that can execute schedules with a very tight mission critical conditions in the shop floor, in the warehouse. They allow the interoperability among mobile robot fleets with automated manufacturing and logistics systems such as ERP, MES, WMS, and ASRS, etc. And also we are building enhanced web user interfaces and for control tower capability for reconfiguration and configuration support. So this is the illustration of what we are working on to develop. On top, you have your typical ERP and IT system. On bottom, we have all the operational technologies. In between, how can we leverage the development of RMF to allow that seamless integration from the top to the bottom, top floor to the shop floor to the top floor. And we conceptualize certain modules that we feel we need to add on to the open RMF, where Luca has given a very comprehensive discussion. We want to see what are the additional capability we need to develop on top of that. In addition, for more targeted for manufacturing and logistics, we are developing this integrative co-simulation capabilities to support digital twin-based scenario planning and hyperconductivity for IT/OT integration, and as well as a robot execution system, as I mentioned. So going forward, I'm really calling for support from the industry and share with the industry and work together. For the project team on top, we need to collaborate with our ecosystem partners. They could be robot OEMs, could be end users, could be even IHL, the researchers. Collaborate with the ecosystem players, define and prioritize what are the technologies we want to develop first and what are the things we can delay a little bit. So that's very important because we have very limited resources. And develop that technology and then demonstrate and prove the values as select partners in the factories, warehouse, or facilities. And what we need is industry partners to really come forward to share with us what you see the relevance to your application or to your plant sectors you want to go into support. And voice your company's need and help us and work with us to co-steer the directions of RMF 2.0 development going forward to make sure the technology development are relevant to you and to your users. And prove the value at your site ahead of a competition and maximize return on investment. So if you are end users, we want to hear from you what are the most urgent use cases, pain points you want to solve. If you are our system integrators, we want to hear from you how we can help you to build up the capabilities for your target industry sectors you want to service. If you are a OEM, robot companies or product technology software suppliers, we want to hear from you how we can enable your system to be more ready and support the future integration of your system into the RMF kind of a platform. So with that, I think that comes to my last slide. I really thank you for your attention to my talk.
Thank you, Dr. Zhang, for the captivating talk. We will now open the floor for questions. Does anyone have any questions?
Luca. Welcome to join us. You don't have to worry, it's intrinsic.
Okay. Yeah, so I think two questions. So first of all, from a licensing point of view, do you envision like all this work to be like, fully open source from the one, or do you expect like, some parts to be closed source, or do you expect to sell it through like a licensing agreement or anything like that? And second of all, whether you envision, the second question is whether you envision also like, collaboration with the core open RMF developers, so like, like bring maybe the improvements that you can bring into the open source projects and so on, or if you will like kind of like develop a separate library that is loosely integrated.
Thank you. Very, very good question. First question, definitely for mission critical applications like in manufacturing, warehouse, logistics, the latency is a key issue. So we need to look into how we leverage the ROS-2 platform to reduce the latencies and also explore and work together with our, within ARTC, we have another team look into 5G applications, how we can incorporate that capabilities for that. Definitely, that's one of the major concerns areas we need to pay attention to. To your second question, there's no intention and no plan at all to set up another RMF, although we thought 2.0 is not RMF, another RMF. It's really, we are building and building upon the open RMF. So some of the capabilities, actually, you may be surprised, quite a lot of the capability we develop will be open source back to the community, for the community to use, to share, and also give the opportunity for them to try to feedback to us where to continue to develop for even RMF 3.0 going forward. So it will be a part of the total play of RMF, or rather, or if you like, the interoperability solutions for industry. Any other questions? And welcome contribution for community in Singapore, anywhere, we can work together.
Is there any questions? If there are no questions, we've come to the end of the Q&A session.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you so much.